Today, we're diving into a common question about how a debt settlement program affects your credit score over time. If you're considering joining a debt settlement program, understanding this can help you make an informed decision. So let's break it down. Initially, your credit score might drop significantly, usually by 140 to 200 points in the first 6 months. However, this depends on where your credit score is and when you start. For example, if your credit score is already in the 400s, you may not see a dip at all and might even see an increase as accounts gets paid off. For those starting around 650, the score might drop to around 500 due to new late payments and charge-offs. Now, most people join a debt settlement program with a score between 600 and 680. During the first year, your credit score might dip because you've chosen to stop making the minimum payments to your creditors. This leads often to late payments and eventually charge-offs. Now, after 6 months, your credit score, let's say, is 480. But it won't feel much of a difference because even before you couldn't use your credit, even though you had like a 600 and something credit score, because your credit was max. Your debt to income was max and no lender was really giving you money. You were applying everywhere. You're like, okay, what's the point of this credit score? I can't even use it for anything. You know you've been in debt if you've had that situation. Look, I've been in it too, so I can relate. This is what I like to call people have reached their debt ceiling. Just like we can as a country, you can as a person. Look, you've done a debt consolidation loan in the past, or you've gotten several different balance transfer credit cards, but now it's like no one will give you any more money. You can't get any more credit. It's like you have hit your ceiling. And now you're like, what do I do? Now, after 6 months, as long as you have one open credit card, like the Open Sky Secure credit card, and consider a secured loan like self-lender to rebuild your credit, you'll be fine. Your credit should start going back up. Now, you got to make sure that you maintain a low balance on your credit card. That way, it reports a low utilization and your credit can go up quickly. Let's get back on track. After 12 months, your credit score should be between 550 and 620, even with the unpaid charge-offs or collections. You may have settled, let's say, one or two debts by this time. We're making progress. Anywhere between 550 and 620, that's very common. Keep in mind, the FICO 8 model is more forgiving to those who are rebuilding their credit compared to older models like the FICO 2. And the FICO 10 and FICO 10T are even more forgiving. So I love the direction the credit industry is going. Now, if you maintain low balances on your credit cards and continue to manage your debt well, by the 24-month mark, your credit score should be between 580 and 650. You might even be able to purchase a home at this point. Now, by the 36-month mark, you might be between 600 and 680, and after 4 years, between 680 and 720. All of this is in mind with you not getting any more late payments after that original 6-month mark, and you paying everything on time and making sure that those credit cards are at a low balance, and you continuously, getting new credit cards over time and building your credit. But for some of you, you might be saying 720 is not a high enough credit score. Well, it's important to note that older FICO scores might cap your credit due to past derogatory marks, because although you paid off those collections and charge-offs, not every creditor, they remove it from your credit report. Especially with charge-offs, they typically never remove it until after the 7 years. But you'll notice as you're rebuilding your credit, your newer FICO scores will probably be a lot higher than your older FICO scores. So like the FICO 10T, they don't even count paid collections against you. And I'm excited because mortgage lenders are going to start using this in the future. Now, what's really good about doing the debt settlement process to get out of debt is that all these negative marks completely fall off your credit report after 7 years. So there's no record on your credit report of this ever after the 7-year mark, nor are there any public records of your credit history or anything like that, unlike with bankruptcy. After that 7-year mark, your credit score could even be 780 or higher. Some people in the 800s. It's limitless at this point because there will be no negative items on your credit report. And if there are, it's just because of new ones you may have gotten. Now, this doesn't mean you can't reach that 780 mark before the 7 years, because a lot of collection agencies will remove the account once it's settled completely off your credit report. And if you got lucky and had all your accounts with those specific collection agencies, then guess what? You have no more negative items on your credit report. At that point, I mean, your score could enter the 800s, right? So that would be amazing. But you got to keep in mind that is if you are lucky enough to have all those collection agencies who are willing to remove it from the credit report once it's settled. Also, these estimates that I gave as far as the scores can vary, but they are based on years of experience. As you continue to rebuild your credit and add more positive accounts, your credit scores will reflect these positive changes. If you want to learn more or get a free consultation, make sure you contact us at AAA Debt Solutions, as we would love to help you get out of debt. So thank you for watching, and make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.